Parents, if you just got your teen's SAT score results back and you're not happy with them, make sure to watch this quick video so that you can learn exactly what to do next so that they can dominate their next exam. For those of you guys who don't know me yet, my name is Jared Wynn. I'm the founder and director of Geometry Guru's SAT Prep. And at this point in my career, I've helped hundreds of students increase their SAT scores so that they can go to their dream colleges or qualify for scholarships. In every single video that I post, I give you guys one actionable step to helping your teen increase their score. With that being said, let's get straight into it. All these students that you see right here, they were in the same exact position as your teen is right now when they first started. And here's exactly what we did with them. Number one is that we took radical accountability. All right. What do I mean by radical accountability? That means this. The score that they got previously is entirely their fault. Take extreme ownership of that score. What do I mean by that? Don't blame your parents. Don't blame your previous tutor. Don't blame your goldfish, right? The reason why you didn't get the score that you want is entirely because of you. Now, if you do that, you take accountability, you take ownership of your score. That means it's in your power to change that score. If you blame everyone else, then you give away that power to external things. You're not able to increase your score. But if you tell yourself, hey, I'm the reason why I didn't get the results that I want, you're able to increase your score for the next time because you're in control of it. All right, so that's always step number one. Step number two is always diagnose the correct weaknesses. So many people nowadays, they know to target their weaknesses, but they don't know how to target their weaknesses. Why? Is because they don't know, they take a diagnostic exam and they only work on the things that they got wrong. Now you're probably like, Jared, what do you mean by that? Aren't you supposed to do that? Well, yes and no. The problem with just looking at what you got wrong is that you don't actually pay attention to the why you got them wrong. Like for example, maybe you didn't get it wrong because you didn't understand it. Maybe you got it wrong because you spent so much time on the beginning parts of the exam that by the time you got to this part of the exam, you're running out of time, you're not focused, you're fatigued, and then you rush or then you make a silly mistake. So an inexperienced tutor or an inexperienced student would just work on those ending part of the exams, even if they actually understand how to do it, rather than ignoring the true issue, which was the beginning portion of the exam that they spent way too much time on, right? So you can see how it's so easy to potentially waste hours and hours of your time working on things that you're already good at. All right, so we need to diagnose the true issues. Step number two is always applying it, right? Or performing under pressure. So what we do here is that we need to make sure that once we understand, we have a true diagnosis of what you actually need to work on. Now we give you similar SAT problems that mimic the same ones that you're missing right now. But most importantly, we need to make them slightly harder. Now, why do we do that? Because if we make them slightly harder, that actually moves the needle. And most importantly, they need to be in an environment in which it is timed and pressured, just like the real thing, right? If you guys have student athletes, you practice the way you play the way you practice, right? So if they just do these drills in a pressurized environment every single day, imagine how much more confident they'll be by the time they take the real exam. It's just like, hey, I've done this a million times. Now, if you don't do this, if you don't apply correctly, you're gonna go to the exam and that's the hardest thing. If that's the hardest thing you've ever done, then you didn't prep correctly. Now, if you go to the exam and that's the first time you see pressure, you're gonna bomb the exam. Now, if you go to the exam and that's the hardest thing you ever seen, you did not prepare correctly. Your prep needs to be slightly harder than the real thing so that you don't go up in difficulty, you go down in difficulty. Now, the next step, of course, is test simulation. So many students, they just use tests that are just way too easy for them. Like, for example, I just met a student earlier today and she was like, hey, I got a 1600 on the Blue Book exam, but then I took the real thing and got a 1450. Yeah, it's because you're using Blue Book exams. They're just way too easy in comparison to the real thing. So what you need to do is you need to use tests that are slightly harder than the real thing. So then that way, by the time you take the exam, you have a realistic expectation of what you're actually going to be scoring, right? Because the Blue Book exams, they're so volatile, right? You can get a 1600 one day, a 1350 the next day, right? You're just all over the place. So it's really hard to guess what you actually need help on or it's really hard to guess what you would be scoring. Now for our tests, if you get a 1500 on one of our tests, that means you're very likely to get a 1500 on the real thing because our tests are slightly harder. It just makes sense, all right? So that's exactly what you should do. If your teen is not happy with their score, follow that 3-step roadmap and you will be in great shape for your next one. If you guys need help applying this to your teen's unique situation, send me an email or a DM. I'd be more than happy to help you guys out, no obligations. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.